take a couple of minutes this morning, and I have to go next door and I have to attach my timers, my sprinkler system. Now, I didn't have the money at the time to have an in-the-ground sprinkler system installed. It was thousands of dollars, but I put a lot of time and effort into the beds on one side of the front of the yard. The other side is not complete yet, but the point is, I needed sprinklers that would come on and off by themselves. So I went to Home Depot, and I didn't like what I saw there. I did find something at Lowe's that's been working for me for several years now. So this right here is a timer. It's for one zone. They have them for multiple zones. This one's about $50. Takes 2 batteries. I mean, it's so simple. I have the batteries in my pocket. Let me get them out. I've been meaning to do this for a few days. I just haven't gotten around to it. So basically, 2 AA batteries. Everybody knows how AA batteries work. And so these are brand new Duracells. And you go ahead and you put your batteries in, and the timer comes on. So now, let me try to prop it up here. So we can take this little switch. You see that arrow right there? I turn it to auto. All right, what time is it right now? Let me get out my trusty cell phone. Oh, I'm on this cell phone. Now I'll be right back. Okay, it's 9:08, so I'm gonna hit this little up. Oh, wait a minute. Set clock. There we go. Set clock. 8, and then we have to get to AM, so I'm going to go around the whole world here. Just give it a minute. Yeah, it's something about holding the camera with one hand and doing these things with the other hand that sometimes it takes me a minute to catch on. All right, we're getting to AM almost. You can see that little PM. All right, we're at AM. So when we get to 9:09, I'm going to stop the timer. And then we're going to set it to start. Now, I basically know this. Some people like to get up at 7 o'clock and take a shower. Some people like to get up at 6 o'clock. So I'm going to probably set this to go off at 5:30. All right, let's back up. Let's say it's 9:09. Okay. Now we want it to start. I'm thinking we want to start at about 5:30 a.m. Okay. And then we would like it to go for a half hour. So we're going to set this for 30 minutes. Oh, too far. I'm going to go 30 minutes every third day for now. How often? We're going to start off with every 3 days. Now, I know it's going to start hitting 90 degrees, 80 degrees, but I've learned if I overwater, then I have to contend with having fungus in my lawn, and some of the plants don't do well. So what I've been doing for a couple of years is I'm teaching them to grow their roots deeper. So now, I turn this back to auto. Okay, so right now this timer has been set. It's going to come on at 5:30. It's going to stay on for a half hour, and then it's just going to come on every 3 days. So if it goes off on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday it's off. It comes back on Thursday. Friday and Saturday it's off. It's coming on Sunday, and I'm going to let that go for a couple of weeks. If I start to see plants wilting or the grass starting to turn a little bit dry, then I'll go next door and I'll put it on for every second day instead of every third day. But as of right now, I believe this is going to do what I need it to do. Now, when I set it up, there's a button here called manual. When I hit that button, it's going to allow me to turn the timer on for a certain amount. So basically, I hit manual and I put it on for 15 minutes or 10 minutes, and then I'm going to go out in the front and adjust my sprinkler heads. Now, I used to have some little sprinklers that you push in the ground, that kind of a sprinkler. I've used a sprinkler after, one hose to a sprinkler. I connect another hose, I run it to the other side of the bed to another sprinkler. And 2 sprinklers have been able to take care of the front for the most part. Every now and then, if I see something like a tree that needs a little bit, I just stand there with the hose and I'll water it. But once I set this up, it cost me 2 hoses. These hoses are 4 years old or 3.5 years old. There's never really any pressure on the hose because the water's coming out the sprinkler. I can't even see the hoses anymore. Except for where I have the sprinklers, so the hose is up in the air. These hoses have disappeared under a couple of years of mulch, and plants have grown right across it. So I don't even see the hoses. I leave the hoses out in the winter. I put the sprinklers away because I don't want them to get broken. But basically, the plants have grown too high for these sprinklers to give me the job that I need because the water's hitting the branches, it's not reaching. So I found some sprinklers online. You're about to see them. You bang a pole in the ground, and then the sprinkler goes on the pole, and you just tighten a little nut, and now you can make it as high as you want. So I think that these are going to serve us this summer, maybe next summer. After that, I might have to change. But this is a do-it-yourself sprinkler system. Setting up the timer took me how long? A couple of minutes and a new set of batteries. They'll last all summer. The hoses, they're already out. I paid for them one time. They're already laying in the bed. The sprinklers I changed, but the other sprinklers are still good. Now, there's some little plastic cheap ones I get at Home Depot or Lowe's. The water shoots further because the hole is smaller. So I like it better than the heavy-duty metal ones because the heavy-duty metal ones let too much water out, and we don't have enough water pressure to have multiple sprinklers on at the same time. So this is my do-it-yourself sprinkler system. It's not in the ground, but for a $50 timer and 2 sprinklers that cost $30 and a couple of hoses, I'm, $150 in, and I have a sprinkler system that's worked for 3 years so far flawlessly. Except now the plant's gotten too big. So we'll be right back. On another note, a quick note, this was a cheapie. It's a solar sprinkler timer. And what happens is when the sun comes up, it kicks on. And you can put it on 5, 15, 30, 45, you see the deal. So basically, I could just turn it on and it stays on, or I could turn it off and it stays off. But if I put it on 5, 15, 30, there's a little tiny bed that I've started. It is not established. I lost a palm tree that I put there last summer because our temperature dropped below 0 for 2 days. That's all it took. Some palm trees are not tropical. Me, smart aleck I am, I figured I'd try it out. It didn't work. But the point is, it's one little tiny sprinkler on the top of one tiny hose. So I bought this little cheapo. Works great. Sun comes up, it comes on. Sun goes down, sun comes up, it goes on. Stays on as long as you want. So I just thought I'd throw that one in. All right, I was on my way to go ahead and set those timers up on the new sprinklers. But this right here, this is my go-to sprinkler. It's the cheapest one I could find, but the head is plastic. The hole is smaller, so I get more distance so I can put multiple sprinklers. 2 or 3 sprinklers, easy. Hose, sprinkler, hose, sprinkler, hose, sprinkler, one timer. You could probably, if you run the hoses around the outside of your yard, you could weed whack along the hose until it's, in the grass. But basically, anybody could set up a homemade sprinkler system, anybody. All you need is maybe 1 or 2 timers. You could put a splitter, 2 timers, one side of the yard goes on, when it goes off, the other one comes on. And these are cheap. And the hoses, they last forever if you don't have an end on it with it sitting in the sun. If a hose never gets put under pressure, high pressure in the sun, they last me 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. I've been doing this my whole life. I'm just sharing it with you. You can make your own sprinkler system. If you got thousands of dollars to have one installed, God bless you. I don't, so I'm doing what I gotta do. Go-to sprinkler. The heavy metal ones, everybody thinks they're gonna last longer. The hole is too big. You put 2 on there and you can't even get across the yard. And it's a beautiful day. Looks like it might rain, but I'll tell you what. Birds are chirping. The peppers that I was really worried about, look at them. Now, we're gonna have hundreds of peppers this year. And Karen, we froze a bunch. Karen is excited because she loves the yellows and the reds. So these are the yellow bells. I have red bells, and I have the lilac that's going to go in this weekend. That's going to be a purple pepper. We've never had them, don't even know what they taste like, but I bought them just because the color was cool, and we'll see how they do. But we're definitely going to have, unless something tragic happens, hundreds and hundreds of peppers. And in the beginning of the season, I thought we were doomed. The plants were not doing well. Maybe it was too cold. Maybe I planted them too early. Whatever. Right now, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing. These are the new ones we just put on. And they got the metal heads. If I don't get the distance, I'm going to pop the metal heads off and put the plastic heads on. Now, we had to pull the hoses up a little bit higher so you could see the hoses. Up until we had to put these on a pole, you didn't even see the hoses. They were down low. But this sprinkler is going to cover this amount of area. But as far as the sprinkler that was in this spot, it didn't stand a chance of getting over this tree or these lilies. So everything over here would not get watered. So this is why we put this one here. And I'm going to trim a little bit off this branch. But I tell you, this was the only way we were going to reach the yard. Because those little sprinklers down low weren't going to do it. Now, it's the end of the season for our gladiolas. A bunch of those lilies have their first set of blooms is dying off. The second set will start up pretty soon. All right, let me go get this timer hooked up. Okay, we're now set up. I went ahead and I screwed it onto the outlet. I had to turn it on all the way, and you don't hear anything. Basically, this hose runs around that tree. Now, we're only using this one because the front is landscaped. We haven't landscaped the yard yet. That's another one of those things that's going to take some time and money, and I'm more interested in our vegetable garden. But when I hit this manual button right here, I'm going to hit manual, and this is going to turn on for a short time. Depending on how many minutes I want it to work for, I'm going to probably put it on for 20 minutes. And then we're going to go around the front, and we're going to adjust the sprinklers so they cover what I want them to cover. And after that, tomorrow morning, it's just going to come on. And then 3 days later, it'll come on again. And if I start to see my plants are not doing well, we'll just increase it to every other day. We're never going to have it on every day because I tried that, and that's how you get fungus in your lawn. And I'm not a lawn expert. I got a buddy who's been teaching me a lot. If you water less, the roots will grow deeper, and then your grass, your turf will be stronger. But you see all that sweat? I'm sweating, and I'm sweating, and I'm sweating. This one pot, one plant, one patio. You're never too old, you're never too sick. Yeah, the weight's coming off. And it's pretty satisfying because I definitely got to lose enough weight to live a little bit longer. See my grandkids grow up and maybe get married. There you have it. You hear that? That's the sound of it kicking on. So right now, we might be watering the street. I don't know until I get up there and I adjust it. We could be shooting water all over the place. Okay, as I anticipated, these nice, beautiful, big metal heads lets too much water out. So what's happening is they're not going anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and pop at least one of these small plastic ones on right now. And due to the fact that I've been busting it this morning, I'm not even going to go in the back and shut the water off. I'm going to just attempt this. Probably get soaked. Yeah, sometimes I just do what I got to do. Okay, I just switched the one on that side, and that's giving it enough water pressure for them both to work temporarily. I have to go in the garage and find another one to switch this one out. These metal heads, I mean, they're fantastic. But the hole is too big, it lets too much water out, so you can't have multiple sprinklers on one line. But guess what? Temporarily, it's working. I'll replace this one soon enough.